Today I am in Chard, and this may look like a very normal looking car park in a very normal looking supermarket. But it's what came before the supermarket that has a rather sinister story to tell. So if you come back almost 400 years ago with me, I'll tell you the story of Chard's infamous hanging tree. Imaginations, please. The year is 1685, and this is what Chard might have looked like back then. Its land was being used for farming, but its people were being sought for the Monmouth Rebellion. The rebellion would be the work of James Scott, the first Duke of Monmouth, who would try to seize control of the crown from his uncle James II. And to do that, he would form a pitchfork army of rebels made up of local people, farm labourers, anyone who would listen. But they didn't get very far, because it ended spectacularly badly in Western Zoyland at the Battle of Sedgemoor, to the point where the Duke himself actually fled, leaving most of his rebels to be either cut down or put on trial for treason. More than 1,000 rebels would stand before a judge, the most notorious of which was Judge George Jeffreys, who became known as the Hanging Judge. Hundreds of rebels would be sent to the West Indies as cheap labour, but the rest were executed in the most brutal way possible. The rebels would be taken to various locations around the West Country, and 12 of them were brought to Chard to be greeted by a crowd of onlookers and a 90-foot oak tree. Initially, they would be hanged, but then just seconds before their eyes closed, they would be taken down, disemboweled, and chopped up into quarters. Their limbs would then be preserved and put on public display on spikes around the town, much to the dismay and horror of local people. But that was the point. It served as a warning that you did not mess with the crown. So that's what happened to the rebels. What happened to the oak tree? The railways would come to Chard in the 19th century, which meant the tree had to go, and thus this is what is left, after the railways then disappeared in the 20th century. This photo is all that remains of Chard's infamous hanging tree, which was actually taken by none other than John Stringfellow, Chard's famous pioneer of powered flight. Small world, eh? Hello, mate. Yeah, no, I'm just hanging around outside Victoria Avenue.